me my energy. Oh, oh, it's my pain, it's my loneliness. Yes, I see you never in your eyes. You told me to jilewa. 忘れはしない in my mind たとえ引き裂かれてももう一度この手に取り戻すまで安らぎの言葉に振り返れない Oh, oh, standing in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, give me my life, give me my energy. Oh, oh, fighting in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, it's my pain, it's my loneliness. Oh, oh, standing in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, give me my life, give me my energy. Oh, oh, fighting in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, it's my pain, it's my loneliness. Oh, oh, standing in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, give me my life, give me my energy. Oh, oh, fighting in the head of darkness. Oh, oh, it's my pain, it's my loneliness. Whoa, whoa.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Comics Get Our stream. It's Fan Art Friday. How are you guys doing? My name is Brian. The song you guys heard before the show started is called Heart of Madness. And it comes from the Hokuto no Ken movie. Or the Fist of the North Star movie. Animated movie, not the live action one. That one was awful. So, I'm going to be making some fan art of Captain Marvel. What does that mean? I'll tell you in a second. Gotta rewind. It's called Heart of Madness. And it was in the Hokuto no Ken animated movie. Or the Fist of the North Star animated movie, depending on where you are. Okay, so I'm going to be drawing Captain Marvel. So let's go ahead and start. People are asking me DC or Marvel. I'm not going to say. You'll see once. Once I've started. But, yeah, no, it's Marvel. It's the Marvel Captain Marvel. And you're probably asking yourself, why would you draw her? Well, you'll see. Have you tried out Sekiro at all? No, not yet. I haven't had time. I ended up. This is weird. This is gonna sound really weird, but yesterday I was playing Overwatch with my wife because we always play Overwatch at night, right? It's like a thing that we tend to do. Like, oh, we're bored. It's, you know, we're tired. It's been a long day. There's just, you know, a lot of work, a lot of shows and stuff. Let's unwind and play Overwatch together. And I decided to, because I've been struggling a lot with Overwatch lately. So I decided that I was gonna like look at my options in terms of like the, because you know I'm playing on a controller, so I'm struggling with things like aim and shit like that, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna check my options. I'm gonna redo my settings to try to give myself, you know, more of an edge. I feel like I'm kind of screwing myself in a way, right? And so I changed my settings a little bit, and I'm fucking killing it after that. Like, my aim got so much better. I was playing it, I wouldn't say all wrong, but pretty wrong. Pretty wrong. And so I was making things like needlessly difficult for myself. Needlessly. It's like it's kind of crazy. I do. Thanks, babe. All right. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to check anything out. I've also been playing a bit of the Fist of Northstar game, which is why I was listening to that song in the beginning, because it's from that. So, and that game, I don't like. I love the setting, I love the anime, but I don't get that game. I don't get it. It's like they're trying to make a Yakuza game in the in this post-apocalyptic setting, and it just doesn't make sense. It's kind of fun to play though. It's mindless fun. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to try out Sekiro. Alright, so I need to change some things on this head. I'm liking the way that is sitting there. Also, her head's kind of big. So let's make it a little smaller, like that. That's good. I want it to be a little bit bigger because I tend to draw characters with kind of cuter features. So even this is a little bit small. Go back to what I was doing. All right, let me see what you guys are saying here. So Captain Marvel gets her powers from an Infinity Stone, right? The Carol Danvers version in the movie, yes. But that's not the comics at all. It's totally wrong. Totally different. I wouldn't say wrong, because they're writing their own canon, but it's definitely different. Gonna spend some time with my gal, play some D&D, then go out for my buddy's birthday. Dread Squirrel is a D&D nerd. Are you you were in Wisconsin? We met you at MythCon, right? Was it your name Jeremy? Are you Jeremy Gast? Anyway, I just doxed you. If that's true. Plus, Thanos blew up the gauntlet at the end of Infinity War. Yeah, but they have another one. They have the mold for another one back in the, at the Forge, if you remember correctly. You can just get another one made. Without spoiling anything, I'm not sure if Sekiro is actually way harder than Dark Souls, or it's just me adjusting to the mechanics, but verticality is fucking with me. Yeah, I heard a lot of people saying that it's a lot harder, but it seems to me that, like, a game that's well made can't be harder than the mechanics it gives you. So, like, the less you can do, the more you know where you stand, if that makes sense. Like, if you're playing a game where the only thing you can do is jump, then you know that actually gives you, like, a lot more of an idea. So if Sekiro offers you a lot more options than Dark Souls, then it probably will come across as more difficult, especially if they actually make the game to where you have to use all of your tools, right? Alright. Apparently there's going to be a sequel to VTM, Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. Was that a video game? Oh, is that the RPG that everyone was talking about? I just heard the name Jeremy on the live screen I was watching less than 5 seconds before. Yar, that's me. Okay, alright. You just changed your name. Okay, so I got my... Wow, this is like the most well-known Vaporwave song ever. So I have my body here, and let me just refine a few things. Just look at that. Let's move some stuff around. That's better. Okay. Just trying to get an idea of there. There we go. It plays a lot more like Bloodborne than Dark Souls, to be honest. But yeah, the amount of mechanics and moves is ridiculous. It's more like a character action game than a Soulsborne. Yeah, it looked like that to me too. I mean, like, there's no stamina meter to measure, there's no stamina to keep track of. There are no stats to raise. It's just like, it just looks like it's an action game that's a lot more technical than, say, Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. All right. So let's look up a reference. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay. Is Captain Marvel using jazz hands? No. So this is Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. That's right. This is Black Captain Marvel. And I would say one of my favorites because I liked her powers. And I thought she had a cool costume too, to be honest. And I love the Jerry curl fro that she had too. It was like, it like hung down here like this. This was like the general shape when I was reading the books. I think they made it a little bit more like she's got dreadlocks now or something. Not a fan though. Wait, why did it switch colors? All right. I stumbled upon 2 or 3 videos regarding Monica Rambeau. One of them went into her powers. She seems overpowered to me. Is that Photon? Yes. Formerly Captain Marvel. One of the complaints about Dark Souls 3 was the combat pacing was too R1 spammy and the enemies tended to reflect that. Lady Justice is our resident waifu. Thank God it's Monica Rambeau. I always thought she was worthy successor to Marvel. Storm or Frost? Rogue. Stop playing. Don't at me. Oh, it's the original Captain Marvel. Well, not the original, but the Monica Rambeau Captain Marvel. All right, so I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move it up a little bit. So she takes up more space on the page, and we'll go ahead and draw more leg. Like this. Okay. So I've done that. Now I'm going to refine this. So let's bring this down. So her powers are that she can turn herself into energy. It is pretty powerful, turning into energy. But it makes her pretty fun too, because she's got to, like, at least when the writing was good, she had to, like, she would, like, turn into different energy types on the electromagnetic spectrum. And that was actually another name that she had, was Spectrum, for a little while. Spectrum's not bad. You could say she is a woman of color. But the only thing is that compared to, like, this Captain Marvel, though, that's in theaters right now, this Captain Marvel that I'm drawing is a lot more reasonable in terms of her powers. But to be frank, though, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of female superheroes tend to have energy powers, or powers that are, like, more... They border on, like, magic in terms of, like, how they work, as opposed to male heroes that tend to be, like... They tend to have powers that are, like, more physical. And I just think that that's, like, the way that writers and comic creators in the 60s and 70s that were writing these books would, like, figure out, and there are exceptions, obviously, like Wonder Woman is, you know, a really good example of that exception. But let's see what the problem is here. Gotta figure out. Let's fix that. But I think it's sort of like my conversation with Jonathan Peugeot, where I was asking him about the Invisible Woman, and how the Invisible Woman was a good example of, you know, how do you do a female character without making her into a man that essentially just acts like a man, like essentially just exhibits masculine traits and masculine powers. And I think Wonder Woman was kind of like that, right? They were trying to figure out, I mean, she's basically like a dominatrix, BDSM kind of fantasy realized as a superhero. Let's not pretend that that's not what Wonder Woman was, you know, when they were creating her. Let's move like this. So with Captain Marvel, the energy thing was cool to me. I always dug it, and I thought it was more interesting than, you know, what Warbird could, like, manipulate energy. Warbird is who you guys call, who most people call Captain Marvel today. Okay. And yeah, like, if they would have went with them, well, you know what though? Here's the thing. I heard a lot of people that were big fans and grew up on the comics like me that were upset that they went with Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers version, which is basically, we just call her Ms. Marvel, that we went with her over Monica Rambeau as the first female Captain Marvel, because Monica was the first female Captain Marvel. And they're basically thinking that, like, you know, the reason why we have these problems is because, well, in part that, right? And it's some kind of betrayal. The problem is that if they had gone with Monica Rambeau to be the Captain Marvel, it would have been even worse in terms of the virtue signaling and SJW politics. It would have been worse. So, as far as I'm concerned, it almost doesn't matter. I'm glad that they didn't make a movie with Monica Rambeau as the main character, because we would have been, then I would have to, like, you know, deal with that, and I don't want to. If that makes sense. It would have been worse, though, for sure. Bye, babe. I'll see you when you get back. So you're gonna get eggs and what else? Okay. Let me see what you guys are saying. Wonder Woman creator was into BDSM. Yeah, for sure. Ask Brie about her secret courtless prisons. I always liked Monica. She was great in the Avengers and never agreed with Marvel sidelining her and taking the Captain Marvel name from her. I think they were just doing that. I don't know why they changed Captain Marvel. Oh, I think they tried to bring the original Captain Marvel back in a new guy named Genus Vel as opposed to Marvel, and the Genus Vel character didn't quite work out, and then they tried to do it in a different line of comics, which were like their Max line, where it was kind of like more mature and stuff, and they were trying to compete with these more adult books that were essentially inspired by The Watchmen, and I didn't really care for that stuff. I think The Watchmen is like a one-off, and you can't really like catch lightning in a bottle like that more than once. Aside from the fact that even Alan Moore himself admits that it's like it was overly cynical, and it really is. The Watchmen is very cynical. I'm not really a big fan. I thought it was okay, but I think it's overrated. A lot of female characters' powers, funny enough, tap into emotions. Yeah, that's exactly right. And female instincts. That's what I was getting at. Like with, you know, like look at the Invisible Girl, who creates force fields and turns invisible. And she can make other people invisible, right? Look at Jean Grey, who can read people's minds and can move things, you know, like create shields and shit like that. It's definitely like plays into the feminine, you know. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se. You know, it doesn't mean that it has to be that way, but I think it's just, it's interesting because those are the characters that sort of stand the test of time. And I don't think that's an accident, you know? Sip of coffee. They set up Monica for the future. Yeah, they did. From what I heard. I didn't watch them. But the thing is, I can tell you right now that if they did Monica, it would have been as bad as Carol Danvers. So just get to know that the problem isn't the character. Because I actually liked Ms. Marvel, Carol Danvers' character. I liked her too before they turned her into Carl Manvers and tried to rewrite her. She was like fun, but she wasn't necessarily like someone who could like hold her own series. Like she just wasn't, there wasn't enough there. It's not like Peter Parker, you know? But she was still a fun character. That looks really bad. She was still a fun character and was good as part of an ensemble, kind of like how Black Widow is, you know. Like everybody was saying, you know, well, like Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow should have her own book. I don't know if Scarlett Johansson's that good an actress. I did not like Lucy. I don't know why people keep using that as an example as to why she should, you know, why she's good. I don't get it. I didn't think Lucy was that good a movie. But more than that, hold on a second. I gotta fix this. I think that what would have been good though. Here's what I would propose. I think this would be a good movie. Do a movie called Black Widow and Hawkeye, or Hawkeye and Black Widow. Make it a really kind of like a more of a Bourne Identity / Mission Impossible movie that takes place in the Marvel Universe with Hawkeye and Black Widow teaming up. I would watch the shit out of that. Both of them are good enough. Like Jeremy Renner is a pretty good actor. You know, he was really great in The Hurt Locker, and I think that's when he got his hands dirty in terms of like getting the attention of big studios. He could carry, and Scarlett Johansson is good enough. But I'm sorry, I don't think that she's that great an actress. But she's good enough that she could, like, you know, she could be a good sort of support for Jeremy Renner. They could definitely carry a movie together. I think together they could make something amazing. And that I would watch. That's what I think going forward. That's what I think they should do, in my opinion. Don't you think? I don't know. Did you say Bourne Identity because Jeremy Renner was in a Bourne movie? No, because it's like a spy film. I was thinking of like kind of a super spy movie. So Bourne Identity or the Mission Impossible movies. I think he was in a Mission Impossible movie too, actually. Now that I mention it. But the point is that I think he'd be good. That's the point. That hand's a little too long, so we're just gonna shorten this finger.
You're listening to Radio Cutman.
All right. We'll go ahead and erase these lines. Jeremy Renner is also a Buffy alum. I think that's how he initially got the job on Avengers. Oh, I didn't know that. Hawkeye was great in Tag 2. Haha. Yeah, see? I think that would be a really good movie. Wouldn't you watch that? Hawkeye and Black Widow, the movie? Whatever. You know, that would be the shit, man. I would watch the shit out of that movie. Make it like I said, it could be... It's obviously a Marvel movie, so it'll have some comedy, but like take some inspiration from Mission Impossible and John Wick and shit like that, you know, a little bit. I mean, you can't really do what John Wick does, but you know, you can probably get away with a good amount. I would watch the shit out of that movie. Okay. I heard Tag was pretty fun. Catch up, catch up. Okay. There we go. Whew. Let's see. Considering the dynamics at Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm not sure it will be that great. The male lead will be relegated to a joke. Yeah, I mean, I would want the Russo brothers to make the movie. I mean, basically, if I like make a recommendation, I'm basically saying the Russo brothers should make the movie. Because I'd want it to be good, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. So yeah, I can understand what you're saying. But like, well, this is under the assumption that Marvel was under like good direction and like, you know, they knew what they were doing and they would essentially have the interests of the audience and like the interest in making good movies as opposed to pandering to people who don't actually fucking buy their tickets and go watch their shit. So with that considered, all right, last things last. Oops. All right. Namor. That'd be a good movie. What's Zachary Quinto up to? Alright, so we're going to move this layer on top. We're going to take this layer and lower the opacity down to about there. And then I'm going to go ahead and go in with the pen and try to make it look good. No, I don't like this pen. Let's try a different pen. Let's try this one. Zach Quinto is probably sniffing his own farts. I do like Paul Elam despite all the smears he's endured. You're talking about Paul Elam now? I like Black Widow, but her fortes are more her forte is in the supporting role. She's good working in the shadows, but not like Batman. Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. Like, Black Widow's fine, but I don't think she could carry a movie. And I mean, in part, it's because again, I don't think Scarlett Johansson is that great an actress. I mean, how well did Ghost in the Shell do? And also, I think the Black Widow character isn't really strong enough to carry a movie. So, you know, call me sexist, I guess, but... I got about 10 minutes left on this Fan Art Friday. That's a shame. So there won't be a show today, ladies and gentlemen, on Honey Badger Radio. We want to do a Rant Zerker, but Karen's not available, so we're going to have to do it over the weekend. So we're going to have a show probably on Sunday or something, and we'll try to talk about it then. These are the eye holes. Sometimes I like it when, and it's purely a design choice. Sometimes I like it when the eye holes are the same size as the eye itself. It's almost like it's painted on. Sometimes I prefer that. But with some characters, it looks better. So, but I guess in the case of Monica here, we'll try to see if we can like get this to work without doing that. It is kind of cheating. One thing I try to do with when I draw black girls is I try to like make them as feminine as I can still, because I think that, and SJW artists are really guilty of this, they tend to masculinize all their female characters, right? So their black women tend to look really manly and unattractive. Like, I've seen some of the artwork for the current Monica Rambeau, and she just looks like a dude. It doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look good on white women either, but it's like extra egregious, like on black chicks for some reason. So I try to make them look feminine nonetheless. Large pupils, you know, and without taking away, like, without, the answer is not to make them look Asian, you know, but these are superheroes. They're the ideal person, and that not just because it's superheroes, but because it's art. Like, you want aesthetically pleasing people. So we'll give her some cheekbones, you know. In fact, I'm gonna get rid of this, change it. Bring that in a little bit. That looks good. See? I think she's attractive. That's a cute looking sister right there, you know? You know, the thing is, they got to bring back the Jerry curl. They got to bring back the Jerry curl, because that was like her thing, was the Jerry curls. I saw that there's another version of her which her hair is straight. I'm like, no, man. Monica Rambeau doesn't get a weave. This is her look. This is just what she looks like. Shit out of here. I like the bony cheeks a lot. Yeah. Would like to hear Brian Martinez's opinions on my question if possible. I gotta go back and see what your question is. Should I buy my pass to the Boy Crisis when it comes out? I went to church at the beginning of the month, right? And funny how the pastor touched upon school shooters and a lack of fathers. Absolutely. But also, has he seen the Red Pill? Because it might be easier to consume. You can watch the Red Pill in like an hour and a half. And if he likes it and wants to learn more, then there's a whole host of books that he can get into after that. Not just the Boy Crisis. Which is fine, except that, you know, Warren Farrell makes kind of an he's like kind of he's anti-gun. And I can understand that. But, you know, this is America, so I don't think we're going to be getting rid of guns anytime soon. That's not really a workable solution. I'm definitely going to check out Sekiro pretty soon. Maybe later today if I have time. I'm not really sure. Because I got a lot to do today. I got to work on Englewood, the next page. You know, I got to work on Bombshell. I got like 2 more pages of Bombshell to go, and then I can scan it and set up the Indiegogo. Or try to, and then like with Englewood, I have a couple pages to go, and then I think he can do the same. And then I still have ICMI stuff. You know, be on the lookout. I got shit brewing. I got shit brewing. And I'll still keep working on these things for you guys. I hope that you guys like these art streams. And you enjoy the conversation and shit that comes with it. this is basically what I do well, so I might as well try to make money at it. I like the art streams with all use, makes the workday that much more bearable. In Puerto Rico, to get a gun legally is a very rigorous process. It can take a minimum 2 months. Yeah, the landlocked thing makes it hard. Anti-gun, get the fuck out of here. Warren is a big lefty. He just thinks men are people too. Yeah, I mean, he's from California. And I know that he genuinely cares about what he's doing. I just think that some of the... Okay. I'm behind a lot of the stuff that he says. Like the majority of it, really. Right? But I think in the long run, the lefty politics will hurt men. And I don't think that he realizes that. And that's fair. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm open to it. But I doubt it. I think I'm right. You know? I'm just pretty sure that I'm right. You know what? I see one version of this costume where the star is like multiple points. I'm going to look it up and make sure. Shit. I just want to make sure that that's not incorrect. Because I feel like I've seen some version. No, it is like that. Okay. So I got to change my drawing a bit. So it seems. Open image in new tab. Okay. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do this more along how it was intended. So this, 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 this. This. And then there's more. Just cleaning this up here. And then there's this, like that. Now we color it all in. One of the things I really like about Captain Marvel's look, the Photon, is the black and white And I like the old school costumes, you know, that have like the what people call pirate boots. I don't mind that stuff. I like that stuff. So you see, the thing is, I'm not that concerned with things being realistic in a world where, you know, there are superheroes and shit. I don't care about that. You just write those stories for fun. You're not really supposed to get people thinking about the realism. I think that when people obsess over realism, I think they're kind of like, they want what they like to be taken seriously. And I think it's born from an insecurity about the thing that you like. Personally, I don't think anyone has to like what I like. And I think that's a good attitude to take, because if you start going down that road, that's how we get to the point where video games have become like political tools, because there are people that are thinking, well, I want my video games to be taken seriously and seen as art. And it's like, why is that important? You know, you're basically like letting people have take up too much space in your head to where you have to worry about what they think about what you're doing. It's bullshit, man. All right. So it is 1 o'clock. I'm gonna have to stop it right here because I gotta go. But I'm just gonna do a couple more lines. Maybe I can quickly do a bit more of this. I really like how this is turning out too, by the way. I think what I want to do, now that I'm like looking at it, I think I'm gonna make Monica's hair a bit more rounded. There we go. Ugh. You know what? I think I can finish this. Or at least finish the inks. So let me do that. And just close all of these lines. And my best friends have discovered D&D. This is going to be epic. Okay. Monica's costume was originally an amalgam of different Mardi Gras costumes that she literally threw together. Really? Well, I like it. I think sometimes obsession over realism acts like a wet blanket on a lot of things relating to characters. Sometimes the symbolism of the design is more important than real life. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, Captain America was literally a dude wearing a flag. He was a symbol. That was the point. You know? I think people do obsess too much over realism, and I think that it's to the detriment of what you can express. Like, do you think in the 80s, when they were making all these like action movies that were so legendary and like, you know, popular, that they were obsessing over realism? No way, right? They were basically just like, what would be awesome right here? And when people went to watch those movies, they were saying the same thing. What would be awesome? That's all they cared about. And that's the spirit that's missing. You know, people now are like, well, how do you define awesome? It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you just like not have fun? Like, you know, everyone enjoys awesome things ironically. And because they overanalyze shit. And they don't actually want to like enjoy anything. It's like they want to be, I don't know, disappointed? Disappointed! I'm just not that way, man. That's one of the reasons why I don't even play, like, I don't play like AAA games. I don't even want to know what's coming out. And you know what? It's to my detriment as well, because I miss out on shit. Because I'm like, okay, look, there are certain devs, I know what they're gonna put out is good. I'm gonna like play their game, right? Sekiro, it's like in my PlayStation right now. I knew I was gonna play that because I knew it was gonna be good. But like, I missed out on Resident Evil 7 because I presumed that Capcom had like jumped the shark a while back, and I wasn't gonna like give them any of my money. But it seems like they've made a comeback for the most part. So I'm like, okay, well, I might have to check that out. But my point is, though, you know, it's what's awesome is that's what matters, not what makes sense. That obsession is how you get SJW shit in your content. You open the doors for them to come in and say, what makes sense here is that we need, you know, more representation, less sexism, blah, blah, blah. That's how you let them in. Okay, I'm almost done here. I'm just gonna draw the Patagia.
Kid Vision.
And the Patagia here. On Monday, I will continue where I left off on the requests. So don't worry about that. If you have like something you're waiting on, I will continue. All right. So I've inked in, I believe, all the lines. So now I'm gonna make a new layer, and we're gonna like make some selections right here, and let's add that and that. And then on this new layer, I will fill it with black, and then it'll be done. Boop, boop, boop. Let's change the selection a little bit though. Let's expand it. No, not that much. By two pixels, and just do it again. Select, 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 deselect. All right. And now I'll turn off the pencil layer underneath, and there you go. This is Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel. I could add color to it, but I'm pretty happy with it. So let me know what you guys think, and then I'll look at your comments, and then we'll get out of here. It's 1:10. Just a little over an hour. Let's see. I do think realism is nice sometimes, but it's just icing of practicality to complement the design. But too much can muddy it or bloat its visual budget. Yeah, Patagia. It's the it's the wing things on her sleeves. They're like it's like a flying squirrel. Isn't that what they call it? A Patagia? Ryan has to use all his mental restraint in order to accurately portray Brie Larson's butt. You can do it. I'm just gonna draw somebody else's butt. If you look, this is the thing about Brie Larson's butt. This is extra funny about it. Okay, you should look up Frank Cho's drawings of Ms. Marvel, which is the same person. I'll do it for you. Hold on. Frank Cho, Ms. Marvel, and Frank Cho, he draws his women thick as fuck. Okay? Like, I mean, he draws them thick. And I'll get you a couple of examples. Hold up. Think you'll like it. Image a new tab, and we'll do one more. Let's see. There's another one. Image a new tab. All right. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop those in here. There's Ms. Marvel by Frank Cho. He's really great. Here's another Ms. Marvel. This is also Carol. These are all Carol Danvers. This is Carol Danvers. All this shit. Okay. There's another one. And here's one. Another one that he did. Now, educational and entertaining, yeah. Look at Frank Cho's Instagram. Those women are wholesome, yeah. Very well done as usual. Thank you. Frank Cho can draw a woman. And they went and changed that to Carl Manvers. Okay? And I love the black costume. I love this costume for Captain Marvel. I always thought it looked really good. I don't know why I know why they changed it, but it's just, she's just dope. But anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and save this and get out of here. So I want to thank you guys for coming on the Comicsgate art stream. Let's look at your final comments here. I generally like simple character design, something that stands out or speaks something about the character. A realistic looking character ends up looking generic and boring. Yes, it does. And you know what? When you like try to do realism and yet you still try to capture the design of like a comic book, and you think that still doesn't look a little bit ridiculous, I think that's really strange. Like that you're not just embracing it, you know? Instead, you're going half-assed. You're like, oh, we're doing it like the Black Widow's costume, for example, right? I mean, it's basically the same, but the Black Widow costume is like tights in the, you know, in the comics, and the version in the movies is more like a tactical stealth suit or something. But the thing is that if you think that what you've done is you've used realism, I see some flaws here that I want to fix, but damn it. But anyway, I'll deal with this later. If you think that you've just like, you know, used realism to like to justify something, you've only just made it look really strange anyway, because people are just wondering like, okay, well, if you really think about it, everyone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in most comic book movies in general, they're all wearing like leather padded military tactical outfits that they're passing off as superhero costumes. It doesn't make it much more believable. It just sort of like moves it to you're like moving the goalpost, but you're not really, you know, going towards whatever it is you're trying to get to. It just doesn't work. So All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thanks, guys, for coming on the Common Skate Art Stream. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell for notifications. It's good to see you guys. I'll see you on Monday for more stuff, and talk to you later. Have a good one, everybody.